How's everybody doing?
Good.
Well, you guys are quiet tonight. You're not even saying hi or anything. My goodness.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Well, I guess we can get started. I don't have much to talk about other than we have a outing scheduled for April. I want to make everyone aware of. April 21st, we're going to take a trip to my house. I mean, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Your previous home.
Yeah, my previous home. But anyhow, we were there a few years back, and it was a pretty good trip. We had a good turnout, and if you haven't been there, it's really a cool spot to go to. So anyhow, that's going to be April 21st at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, and I know Jim will be sending out some information about it. He questioned me the other day about a couple things, so you'll be getting information on that. But I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. That's a good one. Make sure you got it marked on your calendars. It's a good one to go to. I know Beth was down at I believe Cedar Creek and took a look to see if there was any flowers yet, and she said it doesn't look like it. But that's one of them things where the wildflowers are coming and we just don't know when. So as soon as they get up, we'll try to put together some kind of quick group outing to go do some wildflower photography. Or if you guys are out and see anywhere, let us know so we can say, hey, well, wait a minute, they're here, and we can go there. So we got those couple things coming up.
There were some tiny little pink things, but that was it. And there weren't even the plants yet for Trillium. So
Okay. Yeah, it's probably still a little early for it, but it's one of them. It depends on how the weather does. They could be like nowhere, and then all of a sudden they're all there. So
I did see snow trilliums and snowdrops over the weekend, but that was closer to Pittsburgh.
okay. Yeah, there's
They
a
were-
hillside that I drive by all the time that has trilliums on it. So I've been watching it to see if they've popped up there. I haven't seen any there yet, but I'll normally see them whenever I drive by. I go by it a couple of times a week. So I've been watching them just to see if they show up there. So I think that is all that I really had that I wanted to talk about. We had our planning meeting. We got the year planned out. I think we got some pretty good meetings and talks, and Uh, um, and some outings planned. We got picnics planned. We got everything pretty well figured out. Couple things that are still just a little questionable, just based on uh, availabilities and things like that, as far as where we wanted to go, if they're open or they're not open, or what time they're open, or how many people are allowed to go, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, we got everything figured out, and I think we got a pretty nice year planned out. So you'll see that in the newsletter, I'm sure. And that's pretty much all I had. So I know that Marty's probably got some stuff to talk about as far as the show.
Yes. So we
So-
have about 64, 65 photos. So we did well. I was scared there for a minute because I only had like 15. It's like, that's why the extra things went out. It's like, okay, people, waiting until last minute to give me a heart attack.
It seems like they do that for every show, Marty.
I know. I shouldn't panic, but I did a little bit. But we have about 65, so that's good. We will be hanging on the 18th. I do need some volunteers to help me. I know Bob Jesus is going to help me. And
I can
then,
help.
okay, thank you. 10 to whenever. Oh, hang on. And then Beth, when you come, make sure you bring the banner since you have the banner.
Yes. That would help.
Yeah, since I forgot it. Photos need to be delivered the 15th and 16th. I think. Let me just double check that. I think it's the 15th and 16th. Oh no, Tuesday and Wednesday. They're not open on Mondays. So the 16th and 17th, sorry.
For hanging the show, is that 10 a.m. start?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. I'm putting it in my calendar right now with a reminder thingy. So
Okay. So, and then the opening will be on the 19th, 6 to 8. And I'm gonna be asking for donations for like food and stuff. So just like any other show we do. If you could do that for me, that would be great too. So if you could kind of let me have an idea of what people would like to bring. We do have a couple new people that are entering the show, which is exciting. So I can't wait to see their work. So that's it.
So we got the new people because when Rebecca posted about the show on Facebook, she listed as an open show. And we got inquiries as to how do I participate? I would like to put my pictures in your open show. So we had to explain to him that that was, well, I shouldn't say we, I had nothing to do with it. I left, Marty explained to him that it was an open show for the Westmoreland photographers. So we got a couple new members out of the deal too.
Right. And one of them is through Rose over at the art center. She gave me a name too. So Dylan was through that. So
Okay. So we ended up picking up a couple members, and we got some new people that are going to participate in the show. So that's good.
that was exciting.
Marty, were you able to add a second pickup date at the end of the show?
Oh, yes, I was.
Good.
It's after that. After our, let me run down and get my other calendar.
Well, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure you've
Yeah,
got it.
I'll have it. I added it to the new newsletter that's going out. So,
Brian, there was a conflict with our photo walk was the same day that the
The pickup was, yeah.
yes. Yeah, so I did change that. So we added a couple extra days, so we're good.
Thank you.
Yep. I thought I emailed you that, but who knows? My brain says I did and my hands don't do it, so sorry about that. And then Brian, if you could respond to my texts, that would be wonderful.
I will, yes. Sorry, it's been a couple hectic days, but I
No,
will,
I get it.
I will get to them. One of them was about Marcia, and yes, she paid.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. The other ones said she did, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have to do some research on that one.
Okay. Because they said that they got a notice saying that they paid, and it's like, I don't know if we send out notices, but okay.
No, I typically, if someone pays, I send them that welcome email. And welcome to the group, but
No, this was a member already, but
yeah. Yeah, I don't send any kind of notices saying that you paid.
yeah, I know. So I was confused.
Okay, well, it makes two of us.
But yeah, if you could call me later, even we can discuss it.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Brian,
All right.
I see I hate to say a strange face because that sounds ignorant, but there seems to be someone new on the Zoom call.
A new one. Mhm.
I would
Yeah,
say that you're
I missed-
probably,
Jody, has she been on before? This is the first time I've seen her. Hi, Jody.
I've been on one other time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can't make all of the calls, and I live locally part of the year, but not all the time. So I can't always get to every event. Like you guys went to Lynn Run, and I wanted to go to that and I couldn't get to it. So I do pop in when I can.
Okay, all right.
great.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you all too. Hopefully one of these days I'll get out to one of the events and make it. So I will make an attempt.
all right.
Thank you though.
Okay. All right, that was pretty much all I had. Marty, was that all you had?
Yeah.
Does
Pretty much.
anybody else?
Oh,
have
no,
any-
no,
Oop,
no.
nope.
We have the beginner class coming up. Our class on the 4th. Yeah.
Have you heard anything or had any response or anybody said anything to you about that class?
I set up the IHOP thing.
The room, okay. Because as of right now, I've no one has told me that they're interested in the class.
Well, I don't
Oh.
know. Maybe we need to put it out there, Rebecca. Is Rebecca?
She's not on tonight.
Oh, okay. Well,
All right. I'll see. I'll message her and see about getting an ad on Facebook.
okay. And then our first talk about is the 18th. Double booking.
Okay. So the 18th is a talk about. I know you guys have
And that's at IHOP again, so.
yeah, I know you guys have I unfortunately will not be able to make that because my boss is on vacation, so I have to be at work. But you guys
I
that's
triple
always
booked
turned
myself.
out pretty good, you guys. And I know they're getting pretty good at that last year, but then the weather and everything came about, and we decided to suspend that for the winter time and start up again. So
Yes.
that should be fun. Okay.
Yeah, if you have any ideas on what we can do, just let me know. I guess I'm in charge of it now.
A few months ago, there was discussion, there was some Western Pennsylvania photo project of local clubs.
Yes. It's still in the works.
Okay,
More information will be coming out as soon as they get their act together. I don't
Okay.
know. They're working on logos and a platform for being able to submit your photos and stuff. And they've been having some glitches in their system. So they're trying to work out the bugs.
okay.
Well, Marty, I don't recall the dates, but didn't you establish a submission date like sometime in August or something?
Yes. Yeah.
It's not even gonna open for submissions until sometime in May. And then it closes in August
Yeah.
for
something like-
submissions. So you'll have like 2 or 3 months to
Yeah.
submit stuff anyway.
All right. Hey, does anybody have plans of going to photograph the
Eclipse?
eclipse?
I do. I'm gonna go up to Conneaut to my sister-in-law's cottage and stay for a few days so that we don't hit the traffic. And I did buy my little solar filter thing, and I've been playing with that a little bit, so I'm having some fun.
Well, that's cool. I was thinking about heading up to New York area, but I don't know. I tried to convince people to take work off to go, but
Yeah.
all in sick.
Remember the admonition that it will be heavy, heavy, heavy traffic.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have a Jeep, so I was thinking maybe I could find it up on the trail type of thing out of the way.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to go, but I'm not dealing with all that traffic and the parks and all that stuff. They said their facilities have been booked up for like 2 weeks now. So
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I have some friends up in Olean, and I thought, well, then I could kind of shoot over towards Jamestown, maybe.
Well,
Or
we're
South.
gonna still see like it partially here, right?
Yeah, it's 98%, I think.
Okay, so it's pretty darn close to full here.
Yeah, it'll have
Okay.
like a little sliver.
Yeah. All right.
I know, I was debating. Is a sliver good enough?
Well, it depends on how much traffic you want to deal with as to whether or not the sliver is worth it or not.
I know.
All
uh,
right. Okay, does anybody else have anything else that they would need to bring up?
No.
Nope. Okay, Jim, can I assume you have some news for us this evening?
I do, but I guess the question is anyone scheduled for tips and tricks tonight?
No, nobody did that.
Not this week or this month already?
I have April, May, June open, August, September, October, November, and December open. So
Okay, so hey guys, how about helping out a little bit with this tips and tricks? It is literally, it can be a 5 minute or less, even if you need to be. But 5 minutes would be nice, just something quick and easy, or show us a video that you like. Or say, hey, or even you could even get on there and take 5 minutes to ask a question and let us answer it. I don't care what you do, but just help out a little bit with that. We got several months that are open, and we'd appreciate someone, anybody stepping up and saying, hey, I'll take one of those months and I'll put up something. It's 5 minutes, 10 minutes at tops is really all we need from you. So you're not doing a whole meeting, you're not doing a huge conversation or anything like that. Even if you got a 5 minute video from YouTube that you would like for us to see, we'd be more than glad to have that as one of our tips and tricks. So
well, you
think
know
about
what?
that.
I did see this kind of cool thing. It's on Amazon. I could share that. It's like this like umbrella thing, but it's like a backpack thing, and it's like this like whoop, over your head type of Did you like that? I thought it was cool because it would leave you hands free. I'll look it up and then I'll share it. Because I thought, oh wow, look, you can do this in the rain, and your camera won't get too wet.
Okay.
Has anybody done anything on cleaning your cameras yourself?
I'm sorry?
Has anyone, done anything with cleaning your cameras? Like, if you get dust particles on the inside, on the
No.
sensor, on the mirror.
No.
Because
We
there's a
have-
really good YouTube video. I've learned to do my own. Because with my one particular mirrorless camera, no matter what, there's always dust kind of getting in there. And it's so frustrating. And so that's one. And it's one particular photographer. He does a really good job at explaining how to clean it. And I follow him, and I've learned to clean my own cameras that way. So I'd be happy to share that at some point in time. I think it's probably wouldn't take all that long, but it's a really good video.
And what month would you like to do that?
What months do you have open?
We have May, June, August, September, October, November, December.
How about when is it in May?
It's
It
so
would
would be
be
the
for-
last the Thursday, just like this one. It would be in May.
Okay,
It would be the 30th. May
okay.
30th. Okay,
I would volunteer for that.
cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's a good one to watch. I particularly just take my camera to the camera store in Ohio and let them clean it. But I know we've had that question before about how to clean your camera and the best way to do it. So that would be a good one. I like that idea.
Yeah. I think once you get over the fear of it, and as long as you do it the right way and don't press too hard and just kind of follow the steps, it really is so easy to do. So I'll put that in my calendar on the 30th of May, and I will do that.
Cool. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
See how easy that is, guys? All right. Jim, are you ready?
I believe I am.
Okay.
So I've got about 10 different articles to go through. It won't take real long, though, I don't believe. This first
Take your time, Jim.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Yeah, take your time because my part won't take very long either. So
Well, just
we'll
because
be
the
doing some
subject-
critiquing.
Yeah, the subject matter, I wouldn't expect it to take very long, Brian. We can always do photo critiques after you're done.
Yep.
So this first article, I don't know how many of you bother to rent either lens or cameras. I rent lens maybe once a year or so if I'm off somewhere for a trip and I kind of want an all-in-one wide zoom. I've borrowed those rather than purchase them. But anyway, this article popped up earlier this month that the lens rental company acquired Borrow Lenses, acquired them. So if you've used Borrow Lenses previously for rentals, either cameras or lens, Lens Rentals has been in the business doing this, and they're now taking customers from Borrow Lens. So if you're interested, just it's a heads up, that's all. Put a pointer up here. Okay, the next one. I'm not going to talk about this article. I will post links to all of these after I'm done here. But so the headline here is the Nikon Z7 is discounted, and so are some Olympus system lens. But the article actually includes, I don't know if this is typical for every spring, but there seems to be a lot of discounts on camera equipment. And this one on the Z7 too. And Brian, is that the one that you're interested in?
No, he wants a Z9.
I want a Z9, but those are. I mean, realistically, that's not really realistic for me. But
Anyway,
the Z8 is awesome as well.
Yeah, this is $700 off, so that's rather significant. But I'm not going to go through all these. There's a bunch of Nikon cameras and lens, Olympus, Sony's got some discounts. Now, some of these might only be $100 or $200. It depends on the total cost. But Canon has some, Fuji has some. It seems like everyone's got some cameras and lens on sale nowadays. So I'll put a link to that article for you to take a peek at on your own. And this one caught my attention. I don't use Nikon, but those of you who do, I don't know if this is an unusually wide range for a camera or not, but it's a 28 to 400 millimeter zoom that's just coming out. Now, beginning at 200, it goes up to f8 as a maximum aperture opening. So it's not that fast of a lens, but they mention in the article that it's light, and I think down here they give a price for it. So it's $1,300. So not cheap, but not extremely expensive either, as far as that type of a camera lens system. So, but anyway, so I'm curious for Nikon, the 28 to 400, is that I assume it's a fairly wide range for a zoom lens?
It's not bad. As far
Yeah,
as,
it's not,
as far as the
there's
range,
one
yeah.
that's, yeah, there's one that's, oh, like my one lens is 50 to 250. I think there's one that goes to 300 that's a zoom, but this one is even more unless you step up to like 100 to 400. So I think what they're saying with this lens is it's really versatile and it's a really good travel lens. Like if you just want to go somewhere and just take one lens because it gives you such a good range. So it does look really intriguing.
Well, I agree with you 100% as far as the travel aspect, particularly if you're going on planes somewhere or you're on a guided tour and there's not time to be changing lens as you go through
Yeah.
it. Having a lens that wide would be really, really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, to use this one, you're going to need a Z mirrorless camera, I guess, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
All right. So, does anybody ever have trouble with blurry photos? I'm sure none of you do. This is for smartphones. It's a third-party company that's developed some technology that is this company's prophecy. Right now, they're partnering with Qualcomm, but they're also, I think I saw somewhere in the article that it might be available for Androids as well. But it's a technology. It's kind of like I'm not sure if it's truly AI based, but something tells me it probably is AI based. To take if you take a photo and the light, some combination of lighting or the amount of movement in the subject, and there's some blur on the photo, it's able to de-blur the photo using some type of technology. So if it's not on your phone today, this is the type of technology that I think could be on your phone, maybe next model, next year or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. And those of you who are interested in astrophotography, and there's this MagSafe makes an adapter to take your smartphone. Well, in this case, it's I'm not sure why it's specifically for an iPhone. I would think it would be able to work with any phone, but it allows you to mount your phone on a telescope to be able to take photos of what you'd normally just be seeing in the telescope. And this one I thought was kind of interesting. This is a new plugin that's available for Lightroom. The company is Cyme, C-Y-M-E, and it's an AI-powered cataloging system, if you will. Well, it's not a cataloging system per se. It looks at your Lightroom catalog, and you can ask it questions for, of course, Brian, I know you're really good with keywording, but this might even help you possibly. I'm looking for photos of a waterfall and a tall tree in the side of the stream or whatever another. So you can use subject commands, if you will, and it will search your catalog and find photos that match your search criteria. And I think it's relatively inexpensive. So promotional price of $99. Normal price is $129. That's to buy it outright, but you can also get a subscription version of it. $9 per month. An annual subscription of $59. So if you're interested, that might be worth the investment, just to be able to easier access your photos if that's been an issue for you, and maybe you didn't use keywording, and maybe your folder structure isn't the most organized. If you're extremely disorganized right now, this might be helpful in the future for you to reorganize yourself, if you will. And I've got a few here with some photos. This is Sony World Photography Awards. And we'll just scroll down through these photos. I'm not sure what the contest was. I guess Sony does this. If you have a Sony camera, you can enter the award. So here's an architecture category. And we've been talking before, and I know you instantaneously went to it, but you have to question, would that photo have won its category without that person there? I mean, this is one that truly, truly shows the scale of the architecture. Marty, I think this one was meant for you. Landscape. Not quite sure what we're seeing here. Moonrise sprites. Does anyone know what a moonrise sprite is? It almost implies that it's a natural phenomenon, but I've never heard of it. Photo's cool though.
It says United Kingdom. So who knows?
Lifestyle category. Nice shot of Keller here with the tie hanging underneath. I think the lens got muddy on that one. Object. The one thing that I think almost all these photos have in common in my mind is, with the exception of that moon sprite photo, all of these photos are, any one of us in the club are capable of taking the types of photos that we're seeing. It's just kind of, looking for the subject, the composition, the lighting, the whole bit. Portraiture. not sure well, I realize there's a hand and it's in a car. I'm not quite sure what this brown thing is here.
Looks like some sort of cloth over top of the vehicle into the, with the door shut.
Different. That's interesting. And that's it on Sony. And then I kind of like these, and Dennis, I'm sure you'll appreciate the black and white of these.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go down. So black and white minimalism magazine photography prizes.
That's adorable.
That's pretty cool. That's just like, I don't know, it's hypnotic. You just like want to look at it and observe the details in it. And this would be a nice photo, but again, the restroom sign there, I don't know. It
Yeah.
just kind of, it adds a point of interest to it, I guess.
I was gonna say I was staring at it.
Oh, hi, Annie. Welcome aboard.
Hello. Sorry, guys.
You know, this is the type of thing like, and I know I certainly can't speak for anybody else, but if I had taken the photo, I know there's a part of me that would have given heavy consideration of peeling that thing out of there, because who wants to see a restroom sign in your photo? But by the same token, it just, in this case, because everything else is so plain, it just jumps out at you, and it does add to it. So, show of hands here. Would who would have peeled this one out? If it was your,
It definitely would have been a thought of mine.
I'd have left it.
you would have left it.
Yep.
I mean, it could be just it's for men, women, and wheelchairs, but there's a step, so it's not going to be wheelchair accessible. But
I'm sorry, what was that, Marty?
just continue.
Okay,
Lack of sleep, go away. Keep going.
all right.
I was reading into it differently.
Oh, okay. Leading lines to nowhere.
Yeah.
So when I first saw this, I thought it was just some unique shadow and light type photo. But if you read the title, Social Distancing, I know they did things like this throughout the world, like in parks and that, where they segregated spaces for people to occupy to stay that 6 foot apart.
Hmm.
Never would have thought of that one. That's an unusual crop.
Makes those chairs look like bells.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one's cool.
That one's kind of nice.
There you go, Marty. There's your trees.
I know. Have to be a little bit more twisted though.
When Pat and I went down to Savannah last month, we took an extra stop. We went down to, it was Jekyll Island. It's called Driftwood Beach. And it was full of trees like this, basically just offshore and then in the water itself, just driftwood everywhere. It's pretty amazing. This one I'm not sure of. I'm not sure I fully appreciate this one. Like all those other photos are kind of unique. This one would be like, if this was one of my photos, I don't think I'd even think about entering that in a contest.
Then you wouldn't have been a winner.
Yeah. Well, I don't play the lottery either, so I guess that's.
Margie would like that one.
Yeah, she would.
Yep, has their telephone lines.
That's nice and minimal.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting. Like, if you take those posts away, you don't have much of a photo. When you add the post, it just.
Gives you some direction.
When I first looked at this one, I was kind of wondering, well, obviously I knew I was looking out the window, but it for whatever reason, it took me a while. This is a man or a woman, and I assume a dog maybe with them. And then this is a silhouette. This looks like two people here, but they're obviously out in the distance. I'm not sure they're playing in the snow or what. Oh, maybe that's a sled actually, rather than an animal. I don't know.
Oh, it's a dog.
Is it a dog?
Yeah, it looks like that other one's like two kids or a kid and
Yeah, yeah.
maybe a sled. I don't know. Tilted my computer to see it. Hmm.
Well, I didn't notice this before. So,
A radiator.
oh, it's the top of the radiator. Thank you. For whatever reason. Okay, Brian, you're our Edge Patrol guy. As interesting as the rest of the photo is, do you keep the radiator in or not?
Yeah, I would keep it in this one too. I like it because it's, if you consider the title is Warm Place. So looking through the window outside into the cold, obviously, cold, snow, whatever, but the radiator fills the title
Yeah.
and lets
I
you know.
think I
you're
would have
inside
shown
this
a,
room.
I think I would have shown a little bit more of it.
Maybe, yeah, maybe a hair more of it just to really highlight that it is a radiator, but
Yeah.
it's got to be there.
Yeah.
But then I would have cropped out that corner, that piece of wire or something.
Which corner are you?
Bottom right.
Yep. The black cord. Keep going over. Keep going.
Right
Right there. Whoa, right there.
That little thing there. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
What?
You know what's funny is on my screen,
I don't see it.
I don't even see that until I put my yellow marker over it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Jim. I didn't see it until your highlighter was on top of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is, yeah,
What
that's,
are you guys seeing there?
No, it's a
A
cord.
wire or something.
yeah.
I don't
Okay.
see it.
I
I don't see
know,
it.
Brian's got me looking in corners and edges.
No, now
I
that's
really
cool.
like that one. Yeah, that's really nice.
This is cool.
I
So,
like that.
so Brian, how do you get your light behind the monkey and then run around and take its photo?
Give him the flash, wait until he holds it next to him.
Yeah.
Very, very carefully.
I mean, it is an awesome photo, but you have to wonder how that person took that.
Of course, in countries where monkeys live, you see that videos all the time where they're just kind of sitting along walkways and stuff like that. So you probably could get away with doing that with someone holding a flash on the other side of the monkey. You know what I mean?
Because he's sitting on rocks.
Because we look at that kind of stuff and say, well, you got to go to the zoo to find a monkey. But in other countries, which I'm assuming by the pronunciation of the name, that probably wasn't from this country.
Yeah.
Monkeys are just kind of hanging out in the open all the time. So, it might not be as hard as you think because, get someone to, get your assistant to walk to the other side of the monkey and point a flash at them kind of thing. So it wouldn't be too bad.
Okay. But you're sure they didn't freeze the monkey first?
No, I
Wouldn't bet on that.
I can't help myself.
And not really a reflection of light.
What was that comment?
Do you think it could have been Photoshop and not a reflection of a light in the background?
Oh, Bob, come on. Give the
Oh, yeah.
photographer a break. You are awfully cynical tonight.
No. I'm just wondering because it's kind of unique and like, Brian, how do you get a light up there unless you, well, anyway. Just a
Well,
thought.
monkey was sitting on a rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm skeptical.
Somebody must have been going up the steps to a lighthouse.
Hmm.
Could have been.
That's what I think about whenever I see that, because I've done that and taken a couple of photos from inside of a lighthouse.
Has a cool look to it.
Uh-huh. I like that.
It's good. And again, there's no
Guy in
photo.
a boat.
There's that guy in the canoe there.
That's what makes it really cool.
Yeah.
Because that's drawing your eye right through the whole piece.
It just jumps at you.
Mm-hmm. Like that.
Here's another lonely tree.
I like
These
it.
photos just fascinate me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it for those. Dennis, I know you do lots and lots of black and white. Do you do minimalism, anything similar to this at all?
Occasionally, but it's not a core competency for sure. It's a fluke.
Yeah.
Michael Kenna does it. Didn't we have a program on Michael Kenna a couple months ago? Maybe not. Maybe I'm imagining it, but he does a lot of that.
Okay. I don't recall the name, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
that was Michael Kenna. That was what I did.
Yeah.
That was the photographer I did in February.
Oh, I
Thank you for
missed
paying
your
attention,
meeting, Bob.
Dennis.
Yeah.
So Rob, I missed the meeting. He was into minimalism then?
Right. It's very interesting. He's a very good photographer, the black and whites and the way he positioned it. And
Yeah.
he had a lot of chords. He's strongly black and white, which hit Dennis, and he's a film lover, which hit Beth. So I struck home with a few with a few key points.
Yeah, good. Okay, those of you who put like presentations together, I thought this was kind of interesting. You can use Leonardo AI to generate transparent PNG images. And I don't do a whole lot of graphics, but it's so annoying to have to go on Google and do a search for transparent PNG images to suit your purpose. This would be really, really convenient from a graphic standpoint.
What's a PNG transparent PNG image?
Okay, so let's say you were putting together a slideshow and you might have like you might want to put a photo of, let's say, well, in this case, let's say it's is that a mouse, I assume?
Hamster.
That's a hamster.
Sorry. Okay, let's say you wanted to put the hamster on your graphic. But you didn't want any like background associated with it. Like the photo itself, it might have been in a hamster cage in this case. So people will you can download images on the internet. If you do a search for PNG is the type of file, like it's not JPEG, it's PNG, and here probably knows what the 3 letters stand for. I assume G is graphic, but if it's a transparent PNG, then everything else in the background is transparent. When you copy and paste that image, all you get in this case would be the hamster and nothing else around it.
Oh, okay.
It's used a lot
But
for
can't
people
you
that-
remove the background in Photoshop very easily, like a click or two?
I don't use Photoshop, but I assume you can, yes. And create your own
I can't do
PNGs.
anything in Photoshop.
Yeah. Okay. And I think this is the last one. So there's going to be, and I didn't check before the meeting to see when this starts. So there's a photographer TV series. It's National Geographic. It's 6 hour-long episodes. And let me scroll all the way down and see if it tells you when it's on here. 6-part documentary now on Disney Plus, Hulu, National Geographic. First 2 episodes have aired on National Geographic, with the remaining 4 slated to air in pairs, March 25th and April the 1st.
Oh.
So I think there's a brief.
Well, that'll give me something to watch tonight while I stay up until 2.
Hold on here for a second. Not sure how long this is.
I'll have to check it out.
Oh, shoot. Hold on.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, watch that.
What did I do to it? Shoot, hold on.
Hit the little arrow. There you
Is that the, yeah, that's the trailer, okay.
The only way you can change the world is with stories. People really want to know what it feels like to be a photographer.
Right shoulder down, there we go.
Obviously there's a risk involved. It's this yin-yang of danger and this incredible raw beauty.
That's its first breath. That's so cool. Every creature comes from somewhere. And yet, when you see it with your own eyes, you can't help but feel a sense of magic.
I want to change stereotypes to make an actual difference in people's life. I always was interested in things unseen. I'm queer, I'm black, I'm religious. I pull from iconography that I inhabit. I just want to be the change.
We're on this mission to chase big oil out of the Bahamas, just using our cameras.
Photographing out in the elements, you are at the mercy of Mother Nature. It was just like a lightning bolt.
When I'm shooting, I'm in my element. Beautiful, here we go. There's a masterpiece everywhere. It's not just a razzle-dazzle adventure. It's life.
All right, this is it.
Let's go. These moments that you immortalize makes a lot of difference.
Okay, you ready?
We're in go mode.
This is the adventure of a lifetime.
Just imagine how much more is out there.
So that looks like it could be interesting. And Brian, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, that absolutely looks like a good program, and I have Disney Plus, so I will be watching that probably tomorrow at work.
I have Disney Plus and Hulu, so I can watch it either way.
Yep, me too. But it's all the episodes are on Disney Plus right now, from what that said.
That'll work for me.
So I'll probably watch that tomorrow while I'm at work, because all of my bosses have went away for vacation.
So you're in charge.
So I'll be left alone tomorrow. Yes. All right. Jim, thank you very much. That was good news. All right. So my part of the meeting this evening is talking about exporting photos from Lightroom exporting photos from Lightroom for printing and social media. And so I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm not going to tell you that my way is the right way, the wrong way, the best way, because everyone on here has a different way of doing it. Everyone on here has a different idea. And I simply went just a second ago while we were sitting here. I did a search on YouTube for how to export photos from Lightroom to social media, and I limited it to only things that were posted in the last year, and it goes on and on and on and on and on because everyone has a different way of doing it. So I'm going to show you what I do, how I do it, and I do it exactly the same for pictures that are being put on Facebook, Reddit, Flickr, Instagram. I don't care where I'm putting it. I export them all exactly the same. Now if you go and watch some of the videos, they'll tell you to do it this way for Instagram and this way for Facebook and this way for this and this way for that. I do it one way and one way only. So I'll show you what I do. It's quite simple. It's very easy to do. And then I'll show you how I do photos for printing. So printing is a little bit different, but not much, but a little bit different. So let me share a screen with you guys that has Lightroom on it. Hang on 1 second. I have to get a Lightroom screen open. There, okay. So this one has Lightroom on it. Share. You guys should see flowers. Is that what you see?
No.
No, we
No?
see a page of your text.
Okay. Up here. Desktop 2. Or how about if no, I don't want to do that. I want to share the desktop. Desktop 2. Do you see Lightroom?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
I do at least.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you see Lightroom with flowers on it.
Yes.
Okay. So that's actually the picture we were working on. I showed you guys how to do the black background in it last time, I believe. Okay, so Lightroom with flowers. How do I export the photo from Lightroom? This is very simple. This is how I export pictures. So I'm going to go to the picture, highlight it, right click on it, and I'm going to say export and export. So when this dialogue comes up, export one photo to somewhere is what I'm going to do. I don't very often use any kind of presets or anything like that. Some of them are built in, but I go down through here. I export my photos to a folder on my desktop, which by the way is named 2023 upload because I didn't rename it yet this year. But it's just a folder on my desktop. I don't do anything with it. It's just where I put the photos when I export them. That way it's easy for me to go get them. I know where they're at. They're going to be there. And that's the end of that. Now I export them to there. The next thing is my file naming. That will change sometimes. Like this, the last time I did it, I told it to rename the file. And I rename with a custom name and sequence, and that's almost always what I use. And the last thing that I exported was Edit Palooza 2023. So it's been a while. But I will name it the custom name or a custom text or whatever it is like that that I want to put in there for the export, and I export it out there. File sharing, this is what I do. JPEG, quality at 100%, always, and color space at sRGB because it's going on a screen. I don't fool around too much with that stuff as far as exporting. But JPEG and quality 100%. There's no use exporting anything less than 100%. This is what I do on all of mine. I resize to fit. The long edge is what I select there. There's a couple different options. I select long edge, 8 inches at 300 DPI. That covers every bit of social media that you can imagine. Facebook, Instagram, Flickr, all that stuff. Anywhere that I upload my pictures, that's the size picture that I upload. And then the rest of this is just kind of, I don't use watermarks on here. I don't do any sharpening from Lightroom on here. I've already done that on my pictures. And then I include all metadata. Once in a while, I will pull my metadata out depending on where it's going, if I'm doing something specific. But for the most part, I leave the metadata in there and I export the photo. And it's going to say, oh, you already have one named Edit Palooza. That's because we already did that. So we're going to cancel anyhow. But that's how I export photos from Lightroom. It's that simple. Export, export. The big thing is whether or not you want to rename it. If you don't want to rename it, just shut that off and it'll export it based on the file name. But for me, it's always long edge, 8 inches with a resolution of 300. And I'll export that into my file. That one actually exported. I shut the name off. That's done. So in my files, that picture exported out. Now, and then at that point from that file is where I would upload to Flickr and Reddit and everywhere. And every picture I upload comes from that file. That's how I do it. Now, if I'm going to print this photo, that's different. In Lightroom, they have a print module. I have never been able to use it, figure it out, understand it. I hate it with a passion. And I know some of you guys use it and some people like it, some people love it. And I don't like it at all. So I take my pictures and I right click on them and I tell this thing that I want to edit in Photoshop. And I'm going to open Photoshop up here in a second. It's verifying it. I haven't had it open for a little while. So if I'm going to print something, when I print it, I know that I'm printing it to let me bring Photoshop over to the screen. Do you guys see Photoshop now?
Yep.
Okay. I want to make sure it stayed on the screen and didn't try to follow the program. So when I print something, I'm printing, typically I'm sending it to Miller's to have it printed. So Miller's, MPix, Nations Photo Lab, wherever you're having it printed. And this is how I do pictures for there. So I would bring it over to Photoshop. I'm going to crop it, and this one here, I'm going to do a width, height, and resolution. And I'm going to tell it that, I say I wanted this one to be an 8x10. So 10 inches at 300 DPI. I crop my picture. So now I have what I know for sure is an 8x10 at 300 DPI. And if I go to image size, we can take a look at that. Image, oop, image size. And pardon me 1 second, that popped on the wrong screen. You can see on the image size that it is 8x10 at 300 DPI. I have no question that that is an 8x10 at 300 DPI. When I use Lightroom and tell it to export an 8x10 through the print module, I have never received an 8x10 ever. It's always some weird numbers that don't match 8x10. That is an 8x10. I have no question about that. So once I've done that and I know I've got an 8x10, then I just save the picture file, save as, and I would do the same thing. I would go to my desktop, go to my 23 upload. I would name this, I would add to the name on this print. And this would be saved as a JPEG because that's what they want is JPEG. And why don't I have JPEG? Save a copy. And it should give me JPEG then. JPEG. And I would save it. I don't want to embed the color profile. I want the color profile to be sRGB. So I'm going to take out the pro photo. Save. And sorry, that one popped up on the wrong screen. And I will save that at 100% quality high 12 and save it. And I'm done. That's how I upload or how I export my photos every time. Questions?
Now, can't you do that in Lightroom too? You go in there and select picture instead of, when you in the first drop-down box, you can select print instead of.
As I said,
it would be the print. Isn't there a separate? I don't mean the print module. I mean, I guess you're right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
As I said, I don't know how to do it in Lightroom. I have never, ever, since I've been using Lightroom, figured out how to get it to print or to send out a picture of the exact size that I want.
Well, Brian,
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
I'm curious to see what would happen if you were to export that with the settings you had displayed before. What size does it come into Photoshop at?
What's
if you export it and save it to your desktop, and then take that file that's been saved to your desktop and pull that into Photoshop, what size does it come in at?
Well, I didn't export it as an 8x10, so it'll come in as 8 inches by something else. I don't export.
That's what I want to see what happens.
Yeah, because here's the issue that I have. If I export it, it doesn't give me an option to export it as an 8x10. It only gives me an option to export from either the shortest, the longest, or I guess it does do a width and height. But like I said, I've never been happy with that. It's never worked for me. I like long edge.
Is it cropped to an 8x10 or those proportions? The 4x5 proportions?
Well, let's see. If I do that, if that picture is a well, the style of picture, it would be a 10x8 at 300, I believe.
Okay.
And let's rename it just so that we can not
overwrite anything.
Test to export it.
I didn't under.
Okay. Now let me go grab that photo out of my file and I will open it in Photoshop. S2. Hang on, I lost my mouse. There it is.
I do that all the time.
I flip that. So no, obviously it didn't come in because if I flip that to a 10x8, which is what it should have been, correct? It didn't make it a 10x8 because there's stuff for me to crop off on the sides.
What size is that image? What does the Photoshop say that file is?
Excuse me.
Dimensions, I should say.
says that it's a 10 by 8.
Then I
At
have no
300.
idea. Never mind. I'm gonna shut up now.
But
Well, you proved your point, Brian.
see what I mean? I don't like it. So that's what I do. I always take, if I'm printing something, I want to export it from Photoshop for my printer because I know exactly what Photoshop's doing. Photoshop is giving me exactly what I asked it to give me. No questions asked. I've never ever gotten exactly what I wanted out of Lightroom as far as size goes. Now, when I export for social media, like I said, I always make them 8 inches long on the long side of the picture. And that gives me a quality photograph that will be uploaded to Reddit, to Flickr, anything like that, because they're automatically going to cut it down anyhow to what they want it to be. So I'm giving it more information than it needs, and they crop it down to make it what they want it to be for their platform. And I've never had any issues with people saying, well, your photos are uploaded, but they look really bad. They look too small or anything like that. Because I give them something that's too big and they cut it down themselves. Because every platform, social media wise goes, or automatically cuts it down to their size. Instagram is probably the worst at that. And if you're not careful, they crop it too. You have to be careful when you're uploading to Instagram that you tell it to upload the original aspect ratios. Otherwise, it won't. It'll make it a square picture every time on its own.
Let me ask you this, Brian. If you were going to if you're going to take a bunch of files and make send them to Shutterfly and make a photo album out of it, what would you use? Would you just use the process you use for social media printing, or would you use the one you use for actual printing?
Well, I've never worked with Shutterfly, but I would probably depend. I would have to go look at Shutterfly and see what their requirements are. Like I know that if I send something to Miller's to have it printed, and I send an 8x10 at 300 DPI, that's exactly what they want. Or if I send an 11x14 at 300 DPI, that's what they want. So, and it works out perfectly. They never have any issues with quality or anything like that. So, and I print 20x30s and a couple even 30x40s at 300 DPI, and I send that to them, and I have no issues with that. Now Shutterfly, I don't know what their requirements are, but I would most likely do it the exact same way. I would bring each one into Photoshop, export them to the sizes that I need. Now for a photo book, it's a little different because you're going to use different sizes and multiple pictures on screen on the sheet. So, but I would probably have to do a little research on that, but I would say probably maybe even the 8-inch wide on the right out of Lightroom would be good enough.
Because they're going to resize them anyway. You're not going to put anything most likely greater than 8 inches, right? It's going to be a collage.
Right. So I would have to, I would have to see how they put their books together. I've never used it, so I don't know.
I'm just curious. Thank you for your thoughts.
But if it was something to where like they put 3 or 4 photos on the same page and stuff like that, then I probably would just use the 8-inch wide at 300 in Lightroom, and then allow their software to make it smaller to fit the sizes for the holes and stuff like that.
Yeah, the advantage of that is you can batch process more out of Lightroom than you can by taking one at a time into Photoshop. Yeah. That's the problem with Photoshop.
Right.
Hey, Brian, I don't know if this is less work or more work, but so Capture One doesn't have a print module. So when I know I'm going to send a printout, let's say for one of our shows in a certain size, I make a virtual copy, crop it to whatever aspect ratio I want, and then save that, and then upload it to MPEX or wherever I'm having it printed. So I guess my question to you, it would be similar to how you export your photos for screen. The only exception would be the virtual copy is where you establish the aspect ratio you want. And then when you do your export settings is where you would put the other information in there.
Okay.
I think would save you from having to go to Photoshop.
Well, it might if Lightroom actually sent out what I told it to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm thinking is doing the virtual copy, you're telling Lightroom in that case what size you want that to be.
Right. Yeah. But as I said, the problem is that when I send it out of Lightroom, so if I go into Lightroom and crop a picture in an 8x10 version and then just export it with no sizing to it, it's never an 8x10.
Really?
No. And that is the problem that I have with Lightroom and sending pictures out. Now, it could be something I'm doing wrong, but in all the years I've been using Lightroom, I've never been able to get it to give me so if I crop it in Lightroom to an 8x10 and then export it without telling it to do anything to the sizing, like I did, like I say, where I resize it to 8 inches on the long side. If I take that all away, export my picture just straight out, it is not an 8x10 whenever I open it up in Photoshop.
That's strange.
Or if I send it, or when I upload it to my printer, to Miller's, and when you go into Miller's to upload, you upload it as an 8x10 or to print an 8x10, and you upload it to their software, and it has to be cropped to the 8x10 because it's not the right size. So yeah, for me, it doesn't work. Now I'm sure that there's something I'm missing somewhere, but I would have figured that by now I would have figured it out. But I have found that when I put it in Photoshop and make it an 8x10, I guarantee you it's an 8x10 when I send it away. Or when I look at it later, it's an 8x10, no questions asked. Okay, any other questions? And like I said, this is my way of doing things. I am positive that Dennis does this a different way, and I am positive that Bob does it a different way, and everyone here does it differently. But this is the way I do it. This is the way it works for me, and I don't have issues with I'm happy with my results as far as that goes when I put stuff out. So I've been happy with it. I think that they look good on the screen. And I will open my pictures up from time to time on different people's computers. Like at work, I'll go to the guy in the next office, say, "Hey, open this up and let me see it on your computer to see what it looks like." And I've always been happy with how that works. So, but that's how I do it. I export for social media at 8 inches long at 300 DPI and upload it to social media from there.
Hey, Brian, about the color profiles, like I set mine in Lightroom to sRGB and then also in Photoshop. But do you always check like to see what the printer's using before you send something or?
No. Two reasons. If my monitor isn't calibrated to their standards and I set it to, let's say the printer says, "Oh, I want it in Adobe or Pro Photo or Adobe RGB or something other than sRGB," and I'm not calibrated to their system, then it doesn't matter anyhow. I'm not going to get the same results of what I look at. But if you send them sRGB, that's pretty well a standard at this point. And then if they use something different at their system, they'll adjust it for themselves, usually.
Okay, because I did have trouble, like for the Marty's photo show. I told her I was going to submit that one of the riverbank, and I couldn't get it to print right when I sent it off to. I sent it to Printique, and then I also tried Walmart, and neither place. The colors were really bad.
Well,
So I'm not sure.
Walmart is not good for me.
I will tell you this. I don't know what Printique is. I've never used them. I use Miller's ProLab, where you can use Impact, or no,
MPIX.
MPIC.
MPIX
Yeah.
is Miller's.
I've used MPix before.
I have never, no, I can't say never. I had one picture one time that I sent back to him and had him redo it, or went back to him and had him redo it. Other than that, I've never had an issue with color renditions. The colors when they're printed once. I send them to them, they print them, I get them back, and I'm happy with them. I put them on the wall or in a show or wherever I do it. Walmart is probably the worst place you could go. As far as quality wise goes. If
Yeah,
you
sometimes
a
I
quick
use-
print that you want to, a quick print that you just need to show somebody or something like that, Walmart's
Yeah.
okay for that.
Well,
But as far
sometimes I
as
send it there to test it out, to get a
right,
rough idea.
but testing it at a place that doesn't do any kind of color correction at all, or doesn't know what
Yeah.
color correction is, isn't really a test. That's just a waste of your money.
Yeah. My colors never came out right at Walmart.
No, I printed when I was a racetrack photographer, I printed thousands of photos at Walmart because I was just selling 4x6 pictures to people that had no idea what color was. So it didn't matter. But I could tell you that out of the thousands that I printed, not a single one of them was the right colors. But the people that were buying them were happy as could be because, they're at a racetrack. They didn't care.
See,
But
that Printique that's owned by Adorama Camera, I believe.
okay.
So I thought they would be okay, but I mean, it just didn't look at all like what it looked on my screen. Now I have a gaming monitor. Do you think that could be an issue?
It can be. We could spend the next several days talking about color and monitors and calibrations and stuff like that. So yes, every monitor is different, and I don't care. I'm sitting here looking at two monitors right now, and they're both different because I don't have them calibrated right now. One I can look at the one monitor and the green in Jim's picture in his background is one color green, and I look at it on the other monitor, it's a completely different color green because the two monitors aren't calibrated. So yes, your monitors can have a lot to do with it. Also, the brightness setting on your monitor has a lot to do with what you're looking at. So you don't look at your pictures at full brightness on your monitor. You should back it down just a hair.
Yeah, maybe I could do
Yeah,
that.
because a lot of us will run our monitors all the way up bright while we're looking at things and seeing things, and we're using it for, email and all that kind of stuff. But when you get into your photos, you don't want to look at it at full brightness because you're not getting the right colors out of it at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But as far as the printing, like I said, I recommend MPix. Nation's Photo Lab is another one that I've used in the past. I've never had any issues with.
White House.
Yeah, and White House. That's a good one, Joe or Dennis. Yeah, I've used White House before in the past and never had any issues with them. But cheaper places like Walgreens and Walmart, and I know that John dropped off here, but John was a huge fan of Sam's Club. I never had good luck with any of those places. I was never happy with any of those, but if I send it to Miller's, I'm 99.9% sure when it comes back and I open the box, I'm going to go, yep, that's what I wanted.
You're going to get it back in a day or two.
Yeah, and if I send it to Miller's today or like right now, if I uploaded something to Miller's, I would most likely have it here tomorrow, printed and delivered to my door. So, or the next day at the very latest. I don't know what time their cutoff is anymore. I might have passed it right now, but usually if I send it on Monday, I have my print on Tuesday from Miller's. And MPix or MPix is pretty fast as well. They're only a few days turnaround time.
See, I sent it to Printique first, and it came back like muddy looking, and that's why I tried Walmart just out of curiosity to see what would happen. And it was the same thing. So and then I asked Printique if they could reprint it, and they did, and it wasn't much better. So, I don't
Suzanne,
know.
when you say muddied, could you explain?
Yeah, the greens were looked kind of brown. The shadows were very dark. I had like bright fall trees in the photo, and they weren't bright at all. So I don't know. Like I sent a version of it to Marty, and evidently it must have looked semi-okay on her monitor too. So I'm not really sure what happened, but I will turn down my monitor brightness a little bit. That could be an issue too.
I
You
know
know,
that
yeah.
I
Susan, go
printed.
ahead, Marty.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know I printed like maybe you've seen it. It's the crabapple and magnolia photo, and I had it printed at Walmart, and it was very muted and stuff. And then I printed it at MPix, and it came out. The pinks were pink, the silver was silver. I mean, it was perfect. And I could show you because I think I have both of them side where I could show you side by side. Yeah, Walmart was very muted and kind of.
Well, when you send stuff to MPix, do you tell them to um like fix the color on their end if
I
need
don't
be?
know.
Okay.
Normally, they won't do that.
Okay.
No,
Normally, when you send it.
The way you send it.
Yeah, I know with Millers, I can tell them to color correct or not. I tell them not to.
Yeah.
Because normally like I said, 99.9% of the time, it's perfect when it comes back. And I don't have them color corrected, but their printing is just better. You know what I mean?
Well, they
Now,
have people that know what they're doing.
yeah, you're
For
dealing.
Walmart's hiring some guy off the street that knows how to press the button.
Right, right. When you send it to MPix and which is Miller's, it's the same company, same place. You're sending it to one of the premier places in the country or maybe the world to have a print made. I mean, I used to print at home and stuff like that, and I can get really good prints at home, but there's a lot involved in that as far as color corrections and writing or doing profiles for your monitor and profiles for your printer and profiles for your ink. And by the time you get all that done, it was just simple for me to send it to MPix or send it to Miller's or MPix and have them print it. And I didn't waste $12 worth of ink to get one print made, trying to get the colors right. But no, I would try, if you want to do a test, take that picture, send it to MPix and let them print it. See what it looks like. I bet you'll be happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Suzanne, there's a product called from Calibrite. It's a company that, as Brian had mentioned, makes these color monitors for your monitor. And what it does is calibrates your monitor for specific standard colors. And also you should adjust the brightness, as Brian mentioned, because that could have an effect on the final product that you send out for printing. Because right now with the brightness, we're seeing a reflective image, but it's more to it than that. It's just the color that has to be monitored, as well as the brightness has to be adjusted to less than what you're doing right now. Yeah, Calibrite. There's a product called Studio One.
Yeah, I have not a color. There's a couple of ones out there. There's one called Color Monkey.
Right, Color Monkey,
I have
right.
hang on one second. Give me
I
one
have a
second.
spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a spider.
Yeah, it's a spider, is what it is. And
Yeah.
it's from Data Color is the company, and it is awesome. As far as, and it's really easy to use. I don't know what they cost anymore, but mine's a Spider 5. They're probably on 12 by now with knowing them and how fast things come. But you put it on your monitor, and what it does is it sends your monitor through a process, and it reads all that information and then calibrates your monitor to what it read off of the monitor. And that is a way of getting your colors as close as you're going to get them. But you have to be careful with things like auto brightness. So like my Macs have auto brightness built into them.
Right.
Make sure you have that shut off, or that you have it set at a very certain, very specific brightness, because that changes everything. I know on my old computer, when I first got it, when I was printing my own prints and stuff like that, I used a spider. It was the first spider, I think it was, or maybe it was the second one. But that monitor, to get it right, you ran it all the way up total, 100% brightness, and then backed it down 6 notches. And that was where you worked. That was where I worked with photos, and that was exactly where it needed to be to print them and get them right. This newer stuff, like my newer Mac, is a little bit different, but I do back it down whenever I'm working on photos. I will back it down a couple notches just so that it's not at 100% brightness, because you don't want all that brightness when you're looking at your colors. So
Yeah.
hopefully that helps.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I didn't think about the brightness, I thought about doing the color
I is that not for
monitoring, but yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So when you do that, like when you use the spider or whatever, do you have to put in what color profile you're trying to achieve, or it's
No, the spider is going to give you a color profile for your monitor.
just for the
So
monitor?
basically, basically when you put it on, you put it up against your monitor, and it runs its process. In its process, it throws colors to the reader. So it throws all these different colors to the reader. The reader reads that and then writes a profile specifically for your monitor as to how that is, to get it as close to 100% as you can get it. And it works well. And then it sits in, like my old one would sit, and this one does the same. But while you have it plugged in and turned on, it sits and it reads your ambient light in your room. You guys used to laugh at me before when I always said that my rooms had all the windows blocked off, so you couldn't get any light in. That way, my light was exactly the same in my room all the time. I controlled it. I didn't let, and Margie used to just argue with me up and down that she wanted to be out in the porch where the light was at. And I kept telling her, you can't do that because the light changes all the time. Well, these things will monitor your ambient light too. So if you were here at my house, you would be in my office where I'm sitting right now. It has very specific lights built into it, so that all the lights in this room is exactly the same all the time. And I paid extra to have them installed so that they're the right color for looking at pictures and my monitor. And my windows are blocked out or blacked out here too. You can't see, there's no light that comes through my windows here either.
But pardon my ignorance, is the spider just a color emitter? Is that all it is?
Yeah, it reads color. Yep.
So, and how does it, what then, it gives you numbers that you have to put into your monitor, or how does that work? Does it?
No, it gives you a
But
color. It gives you a color profile file that you add into Photoshop and Lightroom, or in the Mac you can add it into the Macs as well. And I'm sure you can at PCs. And then you tell the computer to use that profile for your monitor.
Yeah. It automatically loads the profile to your computer.
Okay. But
in other words,
is
you
that
hook it
profile,
up.
is that profile then a default for everything, or is that just a default when you're doing photographs, when you're in Lightroom or Photoshop?
It's for your specific for your monitor and brightness.
Okay.
The color
So
profile.
yeah, it'll set it for your monitor, your brightness, and then that's what every time you look at your monitor, that's the colors you're looking at. So whether you're looking at Facebook or you're looking at your Photoshop, it don't matter. It's
Okay.
using that profile for the monitor.
I posted something on the chat about Calibrite, the website, that gives you some background and some videos on it.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You know what
But
was
you can use
weird?
Spider or Calibrite, whichever one is the cheapest, perhaps. But they're both good products.
Well, what was weird after I got the new monitor, like when I would look at one of my photos in Lightroom and said send it over to Luminar or Photoshop, I was getting different color profiles. So I went in and I changed Lightroom. I made sure it was sRGB and Photoshop was sRGB. But here, if you use Luminar Neo as a plugin, you can't set a color profile in there. So, but then after I changed it in Lightroom and Photoshop, it seemed to be okay after that point. But yeah, it was really strange there for a while.
Well, I can tell you this. I have two Samsung 32-inch HD monitors. I have one sitting right here in front of me that I'm looking at you on, and I have one in my office at work, and they're two different monitors. The colors, everything on them is 100% different between the two. And they're the exact same monitor. I bought them from Best Buy. They're everything, model number, everything is exactly the same, but they're two different color monitors. So yes, they're different. And when I was really into color and printing and all that, then I definitely used the spider on my monitors and had all that done to make sure that they were right. But I would really like you to send that print to MPix just to see what it looks like when it comes back from them to see if it's better.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good
Just to
idea.
give it a test.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just thought Printique would be okay since it was at around a camera, but maybe not.
Yeah, I've never used them. I don't know anything about them, but I have definitely used the ones that the Millers and MPix and Nations and White House. And I've never had any issues with those places. I've been very happy. And Bay Photo, I think I might have used once or twice too. They did metal prints, so I used them for metal prints. That's a little different, but they were pretty good too. Good questions.
I use Nations for black and white metallic prints. They do a good job.
Yeah. Good questions. Good conversation and discussion. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, we got about 20 minutes to go. You guys want to do a little critiquing?
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Who wants to do the critiquing?
I'll do it, Brian, if you want to take a break.
Will you? I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
So someone's going to have to help me. Does anybody recall? Let's see, I guess we'll start with photos for critique.
We
Rex?
did.
I'm sorry, someone said something,
Yeah, we did Rex's there.
and that was a month ago.
Yeah.
What is? I'm not sure why that's in the way.
Reddit's been doing some weird things lately.
I don't know what it's doing. I can't get the full screen for some reason. Okay, let me scroll down. Oh shoot. You sure you want me to do this, Brian?
We did Beth.
We did Beth. Well, this is going back in time, so we're already 2 months.
Yeah, we've done those.
Okay. Let's go to the last photo contest then.
I couldn't even get Reddit to show up for me today. And it does seem like they changed their platform.
This is in the way here.
Well, Jim, if you look, I was pointing to my screen, it don't help. But if you look, there's arrows there to change pictures
You're gonna have to,
in the
See
right
that
in the
pink
middle of the pink
flower?
flower.
yeah,
That's so you can switch from one picture to the next.
yeah, but the, like the flares and things, what,
Okay, go where it says critique. So goes down a little bit.
there?
No, right where you were. Go move that one.
It says critique
Go
down
down.
here.
Yep, down just a little bit. Yep,
Oh,
stop right there.
Stop. That was my problem.
Close
I
that
do
one.
that every time.
There you go. Now you're back to all the post.
Gotcha. Okay, so this would be, does anybody know whether we've done January's?
I don't know. Look at them and I'll
I don't
tell you.
think so.
No, I don't think.
Okay, well, Dennis is here. Let's see, Dennis, how many, do you just have one, do you know? Yeah, I'm just seeing the one that, are you okay for
Yeah.
us taking this one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Dennis, just tell us a little bit about the photo itself.
That's at the Botanical Garden in Phoenix, I think. And it's just a botanical that will someday afterwards be blooming. And I like the structure and the texture. I like that I don't know what you call that thing behind it. That's part of a cactus.
It looks like an agave leaf.
Yeah, it could be. Could be. It's the kind of thing I like to do.
Okay, anybody have any comments?
I like the way the leaf frames the
Yeah,
bud.
yeah.
I like all the textures on the bud, how you can see everything very clearly, very nice and sharp.
Yeah.
And the lighting on it's really nice. I think it's a good shot. I think it looks great. I think it looks good in black and white.
Well, the other thing I noticed, Dennis, is it really, and I'm not sure it's the shadows, the lighting, but it really does look three-dimensional.
Yeah. I think it's the lighting. And you can see some shadows in the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm not enough of a biologist to know what to call those little round things, but you can see those have 3 dimensions to them as well.
Any other comments? Nice. Okay, Annie, do you know if do you have more than one in here?
I don't know. There might be.
Okay, there's orchids. There's a lot of entries this month. Wow. You know what I just realized? I'm in the 2023.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna get out of here. I'm sorry. Well, Annie, since I already called on you, do you want this one critiqued? Do you want me to go back to 24?
No, that's okay. I don't care. That's fine. You want to critique that one?
Tell us about the photo.
Well, that was taken at Phipps. Those orchids there are, if I'm lucky, an inch across. They're very tiny. I like the colors of them. And I just thought they were very interesting, and I was trying to get, I was working, hadn't had my macro lens too long, and I was trying to get them nice and sharp. So it was just something that I was playing around with. So everybody go for it. I don't think, in all honesty, even though they're macro shots, I don't think they're, I don't feel that they're as sharp as they could be. I probably moved because, like I said, they were very small flowers, but I like them. So,
Any comments?
Annie, did you try, how was your focus? Did you do autofocus or manual focus on this? And did you have a tripod?
no, it's a Phipps, so I wasn't allowed a tripod.
Okay.
So, no, I'm hand holding it. And like I said, it was, I was still working with a brand new lens and trying to, bring everything in. So I probably manually focused, but I may have moved a little bit.
Okay.
I do have in the front flower, like the edges of it are sharp, but the back leaves, of course, would be, a little bit of more of a soft focus in the back. But I was trying to get the front part totally in focus, but I did get that bottom part there, and in the middle is sharp. But yeah, I would have liked that a little bit sharper there on the top. Yeah. But it is what it is. But I still liked it, even though it had a little bit of a softer focus to it.
Nice.
I like the flowers. What's that?
Comment, Annie, that I mean, there are sharp areas. So I think that the depth of field is just so narrow.
Yeah, well, it's a two.
Sharp, and then
Yeah,
it's
I had
almost, it's just really, really narrow.
Yeah, I had it at the 2.8. So if I'd have wanted that more in focus, I probably should have had it up to a 4 or 5 with that lens. Still learning to use that lens and where my, where the spots are for how I want my depth of, how sharp to get my depth of focus with it.
Which lens are you using?
It's a Samsung macro lens 105.
Yeah, okay. And on your Canon?
What's that?
On your
it's a Sigma. I said Samsung. Sigma. Sorry. Sigma macro 105. 2.8.
Yeah.
So I got such a good deal on it. I couldn't pass it up.
Which Canon are you using? Which camera?
The 6D the 6D Mark II.
Yeah.
Well, Annie, just one other comment from me is we've kind of talked a lot about, the depth of field and focus and whatnot. That white spot bothers me. Because it's white, it just kind of jumps out. It's a little bit of a distraction right there.
No, I'm sorry. I guess I should have colored my flower. Unfortunately, the flowers had a little bit of white on them.
Yeah, macro photography is very difficult, Annie. So,
Yeah.
kudos to you for trying. It's hard.
Right.
It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, just to get everything in focus, without being on a tripod is not easy, especially hand holding and
Right.
so.
All right, let me go back to 2024 now that we're a year behind.
I thought I was bad a week off. I came to the SWG meeting last Thursday.
Oh, did you?
I lost a week somewhere. Who knows?
Okay, so this is February of this year, and there weren't, I don't know if we had a lot let's see, Annie, since we did just one of yours, we're gonna skip you for now.
Oh, that's nice.
Suzanne, oh, this was you had multiple shot. Which one of your eagle shots do you want critique, Suzanne?
I don't know. You pick one, Jim.
Suzanne, pick a photo.
Okay, the one you're on right now, I guess, with
This one here?
Yeah.
That's
Oh
the one I
crap, this has been happening on my computer recently too.
Suzanne, where'd you take these?
Cannonsburg Lake.
Ah,
Cannonsburg Lake.
Yeah, Jim, that's happened to me lately too.
I don't understand. I just did a reset on it. Let me see if I can try it one more time. There we go.
It's really sharp.
Yeah.
Nice contrast.
I like how the trees frame that one eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Suzanne, were there any eggs on the nest? Do you know?
Yeah. They actually one of them may have hatched already.
Oh yeah.
So, but at the time I took this one, it wasn't hatched, but she had an egg in there.
Huh.
So I was just
Nice.
happy I didn't blow their heads, the highlights in their heads out, because it's kind of hard sometimes with the eagles, having the dark body like that and the real bright head, and then it was a sunny day on top of it. So.
Well, you should have asked them to move that branch out of her face.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe tell the eagle, stand up a little bit, stand up.
I really like this one.
Yeah.
I like it too.
It's really
What,
nice.
what lens did you use, Suzanne?
A Sony 70-400.
Wow.
You have that at the 400?
Probably pretty close. Yeah. And then I always have to crop,
I'll tell you what, even at that length, you can really see the eye very clearly on the male sitting, on the branch there. Yeah. So very good, very nice and sharp. What did you have the f-stop at? Your depth of field?
No.
Infinity?
No. Probably probably like around F8 or F9 maybe.
Very nice.
I'd have to check.
Huh.
You know what? I didn't notice this before, Suzanne. It looks like they're up fairly high in the tree, and yet by the same token, it almost looks like you're shooting at the same elevation that they're resting. Were you looking up at this? Because it looks like you're almost at the same height.
No, I was on a rooftop. Just kidding. No. Looking
She got her ladder out.
I don't know. I can't really explain that. I've thought that too about some of them. I guess.
I mean, I like the
I
look.
don't
I'm
know.
not
Maybe.
criticizing it. I'm complimenting you on it.
No, I know. I think I don't know if it's because of the focal length. Makes it appear that way. I really don't know.
Did you put on your wings to get up to that level, Suzanne?
Not that day. I may have used my broom.
No broom, Suzanne. No broom. No broom.
You didn't drink any Red Bull that day to get wings,
Yeah. Not that day. I don't know, but I was definitely looking up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's a really cool place to see eagles.
Yeah.
Those two eagles.
Linda, do you have more than one?
I don't think so. I don't remember. That's actually the same place Suzanne was at, just a
Hmm.
different part of the lake.
Oh, really?
It's one of the same eagles.
Well, I know it thanks to Linda, that's how I found out about it.
You said that's Cannonsburg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and it's not far from, what is the name of that main road, Suzanne?
Oh, gee.
119?
You know what? I
It's
don't
the main
know.
road that goes through Mount Lebanon and straight out through Peters Township,
No.
but it's not far off of there. Now to get to the nest, you have to take a nice little hike back. There's a trail that you can go back.
Is a trail marked that you could easily identify it?
Not really. It's near, there's a theater there, I believe. Am I right, Suzanne? And there's a trail back in there. And it
Yeah.
follows the edge of the lake back around. You just have to follow the edge of the lake. There's a little bridge where you park and then you follow the edge of the lake. You actually end up going through people's yards, the edge
Oh.
of their yards. They have granted easement for, people to do that. And the people are very nice, but you want to stay right next to the lake.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an easement at the very end there. I know toward the front there is. So sometimes I actually try to go when I think people are at work. So I can walk back
Yeah,
there.
there's somebody's house very, very close to the net.
Yeah, you can't get too close. And then on the other side, I used to go walk back that way, Linda, but now they're building condominiums there, so you can't get back there either.
Yeah, I
And
usually
that
go
was
back
a
on the
nice,
other side.
yeah,
I'll
it
tell
was
you
a
what,
nice spot.
let's critique the photo.
Oh, sorry.
Jim.
Well, there was some background needed there.
Yes.
Any critiques? Any
Yeah,
comments?
I think I would have liked to have seen, I know the bird's moving. I think I would have liked to have seen it a little bit sharper.
Yeah,
But
it's
love all the water droplets from, realizing that the bird was fishing, in the water there.
yeah, he's not real sharp, and
But I still like it.
It's a great action shot.
Yeah.
I
So
like the reflection.
I would have cropped down from the top here.
it would have made it even fuzzier than it is. That was the big problem.
It wouldn't be much there, just that wall. It just
The wall.
that way it'd be nice to think that it's completely out in nature.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of Alaska, somewhere in the forest.
I wish.
Shots you get up there.
They're like pigeons.
Yeah.
Nice action photo though. Okay, well, we've reached 9 o'clock. Brian, do you have any closing thoughts for us?
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your participation, questions and comments and concerns, and don't forget about the show and everything for Marty, and I appreciate everything that you guys do to keep things going. Don't forget about our visit to the lunatic asylum, or you can just come see me at work. It's about the same difference.
Yeah. There are days that I feel the same way at work.
But yeah, don't forget about that. Annie, you weren't here when I mentioned that, but it's April 21st. So if you want to get that day off.
I'm already off.
Okay, good. Want to make sure
I
because
already got that day off.
I know you got a request.
We're having a picnic.
Yeah, I
on
did.
May 5th.
What's that, Dennis? I'm sorry.
We're having a picnic on May 5th.
We are having a picnic on May 5th at Twin Lakes.
Okay. Jim told me that. Just wanted to confirm that.
Yep. And then we have one in September that we're working on. So, other than that, I don't have anything else. Actually, I will mention that in May, on May 19th, we're going to McConnell's Mills. And I will guarantee you, if I'm the only one that shows up again this year, we're not ever going back.
You just have to guarantee no rainfall that day.
Yeah, well, hey, it was raining, but it was still an okay day. It wasn't bad. It was foggy. It gave some interesting stuff up there in the fog. But anyhow, that's all I have. Thank you all very much, and I will see you guys soon.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.